Hello, everyone. Welcome. Where it's a paranoid day in the neighborhood. A wonderful day for the. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? No masters, no gods in the neighborhood. A wonderful day for resistance. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? My comrade. I have always wanted a neighbor just like you to do all the things revolutionaries do. So, fighting evil on this wonderful day. And since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? My comrade. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? My comrade. Hello, hello, folks. Thank you for those future peoples that will be watching this at some point. Welcome to Mr. Williams' neighborhood. It's going outside here, and we're going to check on the things we need to check on here. Got them all spaced out here. Let's check them all out. As soon as we dig up that good dirt here, we'll be planting them right out here. And just so we're knowing here, let's see. Just trying to check and see, do we have any more potential tomatoes growing? Hopefully we do. Again, folks, not everyone subscribes to the same thing in our neighborhood here, folks, but just take a look around. Well, folks, we came in for a special little walk-on episode today. So we may not be on for maybe about a half an hour or so, possibly. But I at least wanted to come in because it had been a few days, and at least want to come in and provide a little something more today if we could. Okay. Wow. Well, look at when we walk right into today as I make more poignant the anarchist side of Mr. Williams' neighborhood. But L, as we continue as we left off before, as you remember, possibly, K is for kabouter, speaking of the Dutch word for gnome, but also the Dutch anarchists who use civil disobedience as a way to force change. And we have Liberation Front. Liberation is the state of complete freedom. A liberation front is a group of people determined to help others attain a life of freedom. Liberation fronts have been formed to aid animals, oppressed people, the earth, and even billboards. Why might anything or anyone need help being liberated? Well, folks, I think that one is pretty easy. I think that, of course, those things like animals that need liberating, are those animals that can't speak for themselves. They can't tell someone that no, they don't want to go and perform in the circus. No, they do not want to be poked and prodded and cut up before they even get into a quote unquote one-on-one bullfight, with a matador. The bull is back there being, being ganged up on, cut up, weakened. So when he comes out there, he's not much of a challenge. Now, I believe you're truly a bullfighter and you truly want to be able to take that bull down. And I say you take a 100% healthy bull on, and do what you need to do. You know, but so liberation fronts also could be young kids that have been kidnapped, that have been taken for slave labor, that have been taken for you know sex trade, sex trafficking, things of this nature. They would need help being liberated as well. Um, women in these foreign countries with arranged marriages, because we're not just going to stereotype, because there are definitely a lot of countries that that subscribe to this type of behavior, of arranged marriages, women being made to marry someone very young, on so no matter what the age the male is, but the woman is being taken into marriage very young, things of this nature. To even, I mean, though women in these countries are some who need to be truly liberated, if you ask me. I definitely would basically bring that one as a definitely a big example. Let's see. People in these war torn countries that are made to work, and to slave for either a warlord's purposes or corrupt government's purposes. Either way, they should be liberated as well. Let's see. How can you support others who are attempting to liberate themselves? Speak out information, folks. Use these platforms that you have to speak on these people's behalf. Connect with people in these countries who are willing to give you the information. This is what journalism is, folks. It's that easy. I just have the will and the ability, and you know just the courage to go out there and at least try. I will connect on the internet with someone. I will try to, say, I will email, I will do what I can to connect with someone. If they have any information from, that will prove that another country, there's someplace that we're not privy to seeing much information on, and they can show us that things are definitely happening the way that we're saying it is happening. I will have no fear in broadcasting that information. I've done it before. And that's what being a journalist is all about. It's knowing that the information that you put out will bring a lot of, especially being an anarchist journalist, you have a special, in my opinion, you have a special. There have been anarchist journalists in the past. The blast. I mean, I could go back and excuse me. I can go back in my article and deliver you some of the various newspapers, magazines, things like that, newsletters of, anarchist papers that were putting out information, that were trying to help people, liberate themselves. Some of us out here, that's what we try to do. That's what my contribution will always be. Liberate yourself, and knowing that the design of the government is never to help you, and it's never to help you be better. It's always to either keep you dependent on them, and they can be all intrusive into your life, or basically be self-sufficient and pretty much not have any help from them at all, pretty much. And I think that if a government is asking you, see, and I think I think the stigma that makes us say you should not want to have government's help. It's a stigma that allows people to not get the help that they deserve and the help that they need when they need it. If you have this ability and you're paying into that, and then somebody wants to deny you because, okay, yes, some people do a lot of things. Okay. There are some people that rob banks. Do you not want to give anybody? Do you not want to give a regular person, who isn't a millionaire, a bank account because you think that they're going to rob a bank eventually? Of course not. So just because there are people out there who have tried to cheat the system and act as if they're disabled when they're really not, Okay, doesn't mean that every single person is trying to do that to you. And you have to give the people what they owe. You know what I'm saying? What you owe them, excuse me. And people paying taxes. I think that if you're paying taxes, what are you paying taxes for if you're still having to get medical insurance and pay into that and still of course have to pay for, your treatments, your prescriptions and things like that. What are you paying taxes for? What are you paying taxes for if you still have to buy, if you still have to purchase, food in a way that, especially certain essential foods can be provided for you. Maybe fruits and vegetables and things like that can be provided for you for free. Maybe milk and things like that can be provided for free. Just a way of what are the taxes being paid for if you cannot get health care? If you cannot get health care for your family and already have it be free because you're a tax paying citizen. Of course I do this sometimes. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but this is just the way it is, folks. It's about liberation. It's about knowledge and having that liberate you and having that give you the freedom of understanding, look, this is the pathway that will work best for me. This is the pathway that I need to take in order to better myself. You know, Sometimes people in this world just need to realize there's some people that are just built. They've done certain things for a long time. They've picked up all the tricks of the trade, and they just realize, like, why am I not able to get over that hump? Because you haven't decided to go out there and do your own thing, start your own business. It's not about trying to beat out that person or cut the legs out from under that person or anything insane like that. It's simply saying, hey, I would like to, venture out and see my dreams happen. I would like to have, something that I can build up that when I retire, I can pass that on to someone. I could pass it on to a son, or I could pass it on to someone that I feel like can build it up, keep it in the family, or keep it with someone that I trust. We can build this thing up, expand it, so on and so forth. People dream of that. People want that. There's some people who know that that's the thing that they should go for. I tell my wife that all the time. Liberate yourself. She's a great stylist, been a great stylist for a long time. You know, even though she's young, even though she's still young, she's definitely someone, saying who has a lot of experience. And I know that if she went out there and did her own thing, get her, we have a liberation front. I will be there for her. I'll be her bookkeeper. I'll do whatever that she needs done so that she doesn't have to pay anybody else to make sure that stuff is done. We'll work together, just like she's worked and helped me with a lot of the things that I'm trying to do. So, definitely, folks, there's a lot of ways to support yourself. Start with yourself first. They say, I think the old saying that charity always starts at home. So, liberate yourself. Start your own liberation front. What is it that you could be free to do? Could it be free to have your own business? Could it be free to, could it be the freedom to maybe, be be a freelance journalist, be a freelance writer, not be tethered to a certain newspaper, a certain magazine. You can be out there just writing, getting out there, selling your work to different places. Having, that thing can work that way. Maybe you have a writing team that you guys can, a writing team with artists that you can start your own stuff, do, and do it free willing, sell the different things. It just, there's always a way for liberation fronts and always a way to support people in that. Maybe it's not attending the circus or going to the zoo or things like that. Maybe that's the way. I could definitely say I haven't been to the zoo in a long time. It's been a few years since I've been to the circus. I'm guilty of it, though. I have to admit, I am damn guilty of it. And it's definitely a sobering experience when you realize that, those animals, could be being excuse me, could very well be poorly mistreated. So there's always a way to liberate folks. There's always a way to support. It's not always financial. Sometimes it's about action. Mutual aid. Wow. Seems like, funny how that comes along. Mutual aid is the voluntary sharing of resources and services. Describe a time when you help someone in need. Now, see, mutual aid, you could say that it's another way of saying bartering. It's just a way of saying, look, I have medical experience. I'm willing to help, anyone who needs my help in that respect. I'm, someone else who is very adept at sewing, tailoring. They can help make sure that no one feels like they have to expend the money on clothes. Someone, people all the time will. There are churches around here. I will say this, although I'm not a religious person at all. I can definitely say that there are churches around here that will cook meals, allow people to come along. I mean, for $4 to $5, people can come along and can get themselves a very substantial meal. I definitely feel like that's a way. Now, some people can say, well, why not give it to them for free? Because hey, people are putting they're investing their money, into getting these materials and things like that. Hey, you know, some people could do it for free, but again, the when you're talking about the chicken, we're talking about pepper steak along with sides, bread, cornbread, rolls, things of this nature. You're talking about a lot that's being invested into that. And for $4 to $5, the cost of what most fast food combos would be these days. You can get a nice wholesome home cooked meal for about $4 to $5. I mean, it's pretty much, it's not free, but it's damn near steal. I would definitely say that there's definitely someone who has helped. We are definitely, ones who, we definitely donate a lot of clothes, a lot of food, and things of this nature. Um, let's see here. 1 second, folks. But we definitely donate a lot of clothes, a lot of food, and things like that. We definitely like to help around here. Sometimes, and a lot of times we give that out voluntarily, donation free, no tax write offs or any bullshit like that. That's one thing, that government stuff you just don't want to get yourself caught up in. Let's see. Yikes. Let's see what we got here. Just doing a little searching, folks. That's all. That's all. Okay. All's quiet on the Western Front, apparently. But let's see. Can we do a music break? Can we do a music break? Let's see. Almost at it. Okay. Okay. No, no, almost. See, I keep hesitating when I know I have it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's try this hush money thing. And it's been a while since we've done that. I think I got to start doing the dark deals thing again. But Well, folks, nice little reprisal of that one. Because of course, we will be coming soon with with the dark deals and things like that. So, because of course, folks, we can't quite stream just yet, live stream on Delinquent Studios. For some mysterious reason, we've just been jailed on that one, at least in that direction. So, and I just won't kind of leave it flat. So in the next couple of months, I'll be doing these with. So during the next couple of months, I guess I should say not in the next couple of months, but during the next couple of months, I'll be putting out some actual pre-recorded shows and things like that, like I should have been doing in the first place with the show, and now with Dark Deals. I just need to work the right material up because, like for example, since we're here, oh, and by the way, I want to take a DIY moment to say that for those of you out here like myself who came up in the 90s, you know, teenagers and whatnot in the 90s, who still have a glorious collection of CDs, um, also a glorious collection of DVDs. Um, just if you have an issue with scratching, just a take some Vaseline, put it over the affected areas or the overall area. Um, Wipe the excess off, with a cloth, and everything should work out fine. Nice little DIY moment there, folks. And very quickly before we, and I want you to think of something here. Think of some resources or services you can offer other people to make their lives easier, to where if they don't have much money to expend, maybe they wouldn't have to expend much more money if were providing that particular service. Now, nihilism is the rejection, in, by the way, is for nihilism, is the rejection of traditional values. A nihilist may choose to build his or her own cultural system of morals from scratch in order to reflect the needs and desires of current society. Describe some traditions or other aspects of your culture that may not make sense in your life. Well, I can definitely start here, folks. I think is those it's actually those things that brought me to a point of realizing that I was an anarchist. It was traditional, religion in my neighborhood, and my neighborhood's growing up. The way Black people responded, the way they seemed to really try to connect themselves to it in an unrealistic way. The NAACP, I never really felt the NAACP presence, or really felt like they had that much to do with what was going on in my life. You know, like, f- figures, what I'm saying, long time figures like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, even someone in my own state here, Bobby Scott is another person who I feel at certain points that, hmm, wow. Okay, folks. But as I was saying, that even with those figures, it was just a situation where I just could not reconcile the way other people felt about those people. And when I thought about my own life and what was happening, or what, better put, what wasn't happening, I thought about, well, how are these people helping that? How are these people making that situation better, when I could feel like, from a teenager on to a point in my 20s, on to having teenagers myself, I'm sitting here, wondering, like, how have things really changed around here? And then over the last couple of years, you see that, we're being used and played as pawns and as suckers in this game. And you just reject certain things. And it's like, that's why I rejected that whole hometown hero aspect that whole, they look like us, they think like us, they'll work in our best interest. I think I rejected those ideals as well, because you can't always trust that. I think if anybody else has shown that to be true, it's definitely Condoleezza Rice. It's definitely Colin Powell that have definitely shown, that have even shown that is definitely true. Sometimes I wonder about, Kamala Harris. Is she another one? These people, and look, folks, the people can say what they want. I'll debate. If there anyone who wants genuine debate and who wants to say that Barack Obama was definitely not was definitely different than any other president and definitely tried to do things different, I'm willing to debate you, because I can show you a great several things that Barack Obama did that put him right in the same space as George W. Bush day that came right before him. It is what it is. I'm willing to debate those points. But let's see. What are some traditions or morals that you would choose to include in your cultural? I do apologize. In your cultural world. Well, I definitely feel like I definitely feel that the Asian population, that in some of their cultures, their respect for the elderly, I think that is something that I would definitely want to incorporate in my new system. Definitely is always going to be voluntary. Everyone has to agree to everything. you know as long, I mean, and not everything, as far as, look, if you have individual pursuits, not everyone has to agree to your individual pursuits. That's the freedom in that situation. But you know but if everyone agrees that, hey, we're not around here, you know we're we're going to be, polite. We're all agreeing to be polite, we're all agreeing to be respectful, we're all agreeing to be, you know we're agreeing to be gentlemanly and ladies. We're agreeing to talk and work with each other, and and not just feel like you have to be forced, you're entitled to, and things of that nature. And in the same respect, that if there's an attraction there and there's a working together there, there's always a working together, a give and a take in that situation. And I think a lot of things that I want to answer some of the questions on, and I think some questions I want to sort of add to you out there. Think of some morals or traditions that you would like to include in your cultural world. O is for organize, and that means, of course, to create order or okay, or systematize things to accomplish goals and objectives. Organizing may involve assigning tasks, establishing directives, or creating charts, maps, and documents. Now, that seems kind of weird for an anarchist situation. How can you organize if there's supposed to be just chaos and all this? Because it's not about chaos. It's about saying you don't need someone over top of you telling you how to live your life. You don't need some ruler or group of rulers telling you this is what you need to do in your life. That's what the difference is. But it's not saying that people can just run around doing what they want to do and it doesn't matter, because I've heard that before. I've dealt with that before. And it's people of, oh, what if someone wants to sexually assault people? What are you going to do about that person? You don't want to stifle their freedom, but that's why, of course, we say that people are free to pursue what they would like to pursue, as long as it does not hurt or infringe upon somebody else. That's why we say that, because that sort of thing Because when you're forcing someone else to do something that you want to do that they don't want to do, you're infringing upon them. You're infringing upon their freedom. Their That woman, that man, whatever, they should live in a world where they have the freedom to say no. You have the freedom to be a sexual person. You have the freedom to want to hook up with people and have sex with people. You're free to be sexually attracted to people. But if that person has a freedom to say no, and they should be respected in their freedom to say no. And if you think your freedom should be to basically strip away their freedom, then then basically you're not living up to the common ground, solidarity, and equality that is anarchy in the first place. See, it is a system, and it's a system that works within itself, to connect, to connect in a way that other outside little juvenile thought processes like that. What if this person wants to kill people think? And then again, folks, it goes right back to that point of, what if I don't want to trade my services with people? Then you don't have to live in that community where those people have agreed to do that. You have a right to disagree, and you have a right to go and pursue your own life out there and live that life. You can create your own culture, your own world where you still want to create currency as a way of conducting business and conducting interactions. You can still live that life. That's what the freedom and liberation front allows you to do, would allow you to do. So, wow. Let's see, folks. Let's see. Want to try to see if we can do another music break here, but gotta play this game. Let's see. Okay. No. Okay. Let's see about this. Small time farmers. Let's see about this one. Hey, folks, again, that was called Small Town Farmers. Let's see, folks. Now, as you think about organizing, what sorts of activities do you enjoy that are organized? I mean, I'll start. I definitely like, basketball. I definitely like, I like to play it. I mean, I can't help it, man. I grew up, when you grow up in this environment, you can't help, either you're going to be an athlete or you're just going to have to really just kind of make it clear that you're not going to be an athlete, and, if you play and your friends play, and you can play, it just, you're going to do it. So, I mean, I play football, play basketball, it's not something that I always felt like made me, or I feel like I was less than because I didn't get to go. And because I've had a few friends that went as far as college, I had some, I had a couple friends that went as far as to the NFL and things like that. So, I, I definitely, see that side of it, but I just never, I made my decision and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what I'm doing, with where I'm at, and what I'm trying to accomplish, and what I have been able to accomplish. I mean, hey, it doesn't make me a millionaire, but I'm moving along, and I'll definitely start getting more to work on, start securing more of a, financial future. Got to do what you got to do, I guess, right? But but of course, journalism, the organization of journalism and documents and looking through details and, right, excuse me, organizing and, getting together information and pictures. That's why it's taking me a while, because I want to make sure that I do it right. And I want to make sure that when I'm doing the show and I want to move to a certain picture that I want to show you at this point, I can do it. And it's not too clumsy. I know there's going to be some transition to it and things like that, but I want to be able to have it become a little bit more smoother than what I feel like it'll be at this point, while I'm still trying to get everything just the way that I want it. Oh, and now this is a good question for you to take home and think on. Describe a situation which describe a situation which would be better if things weren't organized. That's quite an interesting one there. Wow. Propaganda, folks. Let's just think on that one. Propaganda is any type of media that is created specifically to further the doctrines or principles of an organization or movement. At best, propaganda is informative and thought provoking. At worst, it is deceptive and damaging. In what way is this book a piece of propaganda? This book, as well as my show, is about spreading the information and the truth that is anarchy, and who anarchists and what anarchists are all about. So, and we try to be informative and thought provoking, but also, but that's the thing. See, informative doesn't always, because it's information, the information someone gives you doesn't mean it's always accurate, doesn't mean it's always up to date, but we try to bring you that. Oh boy. Oh, one moment. Life is calling. Hello.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
All right.
It's just calling and checking with you.
Okay. Just around, just still trying to be productive, of course. I know you said to be around about 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm still trying to make sure I make that, babe.
Okay, because Ebony's talking about being at the house by like 7, possibly, to drop off the shirts and stuff. So I
Okay.
just wanted to call you, and I think they said the interstate might be a little backed up. So
Okay. I
I
got you.
just wanted to kind of get you a little heads up before you can, start heading as well.
Got you.
Okay, so I'll see you in a bit.
All right.
But I already cleaned up my stuff and stuff, so I'm just waiting on my irons to cool down and everything at this point. But other than that, I'm pretty much done. I'm ready.
Okay.
So,
All right. Okay. All righty, folks. Well, as you can tell, life is calling here, and and the thing is, the one thing I do want to say very quickly is that I never thought myself at a certain point as a person who provided propaganda. I never thought of myself that way. But when the definition is what definition is, that if it's meant to spread some information, media is used. I mean, you can sit here and say that, oh, I'm an anarchist journalist, so part of what I do is about the truth, yes, but it is a part of also informing people about anarchy and informing people about what that's about as well. So yeah, in a way, I could be, well, like I say, even if the definition wasn't there in my face for me to deal with, it could still be argued that, yeah, you could be considered a bit of a propagandist at this point. So let's just think about that and think about what sorts of propaganda do you encounter during an average day. We can definitely talk some more about that pretty soon. You know, seems to work all this time that let's start here with the normal thing of it's a great feeling to know you're alive. It's a great feeling, a fire growing inside. When the truth wakes you up, you will say, I will fight against the tyranny today. It's a great feeling, a great, great feeling that I'll be back when the day is new. I'll have more info to share with you. You'll have conspiracies you'll want to figure out. And I will too. So, again, folks, enjoy this great day out here. Stay woke, stay wary as usual. In solidarity, equality, common ground for everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great one, folks.